Welcome, everybody, to another episode of B&B Hockey Talk. I'm Aaron Bloxel with my co-host, Mr. Matt Balzer. Before we get started on today's show, remember to smash that like button, comment below on what we're going to talk about, and let us know about your favorite hockey team. Remember to invite your friends, share the content that we have, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Smash that like button for us as we continue to grow this channel. Lots of fans from around the world are watching. The World Championships are on hot and heavy now. It's kind of fun to see all of our fans from around the different parts of the globe sharing our content and commenting. But Matt, before we start talking more about the World Championships, let's talk about the NHL playoffs. Carolina down 2-0 now to Boston, but to me it's really reminiscent of the Washington-Carolina series, going back to Carolina 2-0. Boston absolutely manhandled Carolina the other night, or I guess the other afternoon. But Washington did the same thing in Game 2 against them, winning 6-0 in that game. Do you think Carolina's going to bounce back? And what do they have to do to crack this Boston shield that they have up?
Yeah. Well, Boston just ran over them in Game 2. It just
after Grizzly got ran over.
that hit by Ferland right off the bat. Holy,
pretty nice hit.
But Grizzly bounced back and had two goals in that game, including that first one. But I think the first things first is goaltending. Mrazek was not you can't blame him on all the goals, but he let in a few bad ones, including that first one right off the bat. You never want to see a puck sneak through a goalie, and there was just a couple of times where you was just overplaying the play. Like I think it was Clifton's goal where Johansson got it, and he pushed across and he kept moving out, and then by that time he was completely out of position, and then Clifton had the entire net to put it in. Shout out for him for scoring his first career NHL goal in the Eastern Conference Finals. Nothing gets better than that there. But yeah, Mrazek has led in 10 goals on 52 shots. Save percentage just above 800. And Tuukka Rask, man, the guy. I think he has to be
the best hockey I've seen in years.
Oh, man, I think he has to be the favorite for the Conn Smythe Trophy right now. His save percentage is now up to .937 in 15 games. But the other big thing is special teams. So I was looking up the numbers. Boston's power play is first in the playoffs at 33.3%. Carolina's is at 14th best at only 11.1%. And the penalty kill, Boston, 84.1%, fifth best. And Carolina's at 69.8%, which is third worst as well in the playoffs. So you want to see why Boston's been so good is this: when they get those power play chances, they capitalize, and Carolina just can't get anything going on the power play. It's just that Boston's PK has just been so good. It's like as soon as Carolina gets in the zone, they're right on them right away, and then they're sending the puck right down the ice the other way. But yeah, those are the big things. And then Marchand was doing his thing. Him and Justin Williams had their thing going on all night. I'll let you go in.
No, it's the C from Marchand when he was making fun of Justin Williams. Justin Williams, I saw a lot. He actually went after Marchand quite a few times before Marchand finally retaliated and then sucked Williams in the penalty. I think the refs just had enough of Williams going after him. But Marchand really let him have it. And Justin Williams, after the game, telling the media that they need to eat a poop sandwich. Basically, they need to take a long, hard look at themselves going into Game 3 because they need to do something different. But, Carolina just looked like a different team. They've got a lot of players coming back into the lineup, whether they're healthy or not, it's another story. I agree with you that McElhinney is probably going to start the next game. But interesting to see. I mean, I think it's a whole new series now that it's in Carolina. You mentioned the potential Conn Smythe Trophy winner in Tuukka Rask. To me, the other leader is none other than San Jose Sharks, Logan Couture. who's had a heck of a playoff series, or playoffs so far this year, 17 points already. San Jose beat St. Louis in Game 1, Game 2 tonight. I think it was a lot of what I expected in that series, and I think it's still going to be a very long series, especially with how physical St. Louis played in that opening game. And if they can steal one tonight going back to St. Louis, I mean, man, this series could be another lengthy one. And I'm sure San Jose, they've already played 15 games in those playoffs. They're going to eventually, I think, start wearing down. What do you think of that series so far? I mean, we've only got a small sample size of it, but what do you see is going to happen in that series?
Yeah. So I think St. Louis came out pretty physical, but San Jose's quickness, and they were able to capitalize off a lot of turnovers from the Blues, and they put it right in the back of the net. You brought up Logan Couture, 2 goals and 3 points. Timo Meier also 2 goals and 3 points in that game, including that sick Forsberg goal.
That was a great goal. That's the other guy for me outside of Couture. I mean, I really like Kevin Labanc. He's had a great playoff.
Yeah.
But, man, Timo Meier is having – I mean, Meier, Hurdle, Labanc, Couture, San Jose. I mean, Doug Wilson, the general manager, has just done an incredible job with this team. I mean, he flipped Mike Hoffman for extra picks. Like, he got more for Mike Hoffman than Ottawa got for Mike Hoffman.
Oh man, that's so good. But yeah, and Meier is also one of those forgotten RFAs for this offseason as well. So he has 5 goals, 13 points in 15 games these playoffs. Logan Couture now has 11 goals and 17 points in 15 games. Couture is only one of 6 active players in the NHL that have multiple 10-plus goal playoffs. The others are Evgeny Malkin, Patrick Kane, Nikita Kucherov, Alexander Ovechkin, and Jake Gensel. So that's some pretty elite company right there. But Martin Jones, I thought, also had a strong game. Especially, I think what he's shown is, especially when St. Louis pulled the goalie, he's been able to make those big saves when they need him to. Especially, I think that St. Louis's third line was actually really good in that third period. I think they were getting out every second or third shift for the most part that period. But and then you go on their back end. Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson continue to rip it up. I think I was listening to Spin Chicklets today, and I think they brought up that Brent Burns has actually played 100 more minutes than the next closest guy in the entire playoffs. Like, that's I know San Jose's played a lot of hockey in the postseason, but that is unbelievable. Burns 5 goals, 15 points in these playoffs. And then if you flip on St. Louis's side, a couple of guys that really need to step up. Vladimir Tarasenko at the top of the list only has 5 goals and 6 points in 14 games, and 4 of those 5 goals have come on the power play. His only even strength goal came in Game 1 against Dallas. So that's the one guy. And Braden Shen, who only has 1 goal and 4 points in 14 games these playoffs. His only goal came in Game 5 against Winnipeg, and his 4 points only came in a 3-game span between Game 5 against Winnipeg to Game 1 against Dallas. So those are 2 big guys that really need to step up. But I think St. Louis, I wouldn't be surprised if they win today. But the big thing is that they have to cut the turnovers, because the Sharks will make them pay every single time.
Martin Jones, kind of the modern-day Grant Fuhr right now. Just doesn't matter how many you let in as long as you make the last save, right? So, and to me, that's how he's been playing. I mean, he's been coming up huge when they need a save, and he's nothing fancy, but he's getting the job done. He's getting the wins. And I still think that if he didn't have such a great game in Game 5 and 6 against Vegas, I mean, Vegas would be in this situation and not San Jose. So, so Game 2 tonight, San Jose, St. Louis. Memorial Cup almost set here in Canada. The Quebec Major Junior Champion, Rouyn-Noranda Huskies are in. They beat the Halifax Mooseheads 4-2. And Halifax, of course, is the host for this year's tournament as well. Guelph, I believe it's the Guelph Storm, beat Windsor, right? No, they're not Windsor. What's
Ottawa
Ottawa
67.
67s? Yeah, they beat the Ottawa 67s 4-2. As when Mike DiPietro, we posted on our Facebook page, went down with a nasty-looking injury. They were up 2-0, and they ended up losing 4 straight to Guelph, who fully deserved it after upsetting London and making some pretty good comebacks in their series. So tonight is the last team we'll get in. Prince Albert, starting actually right now. The Vancouver Giants and Prince Albert Raiders, 3 games apiece. Game 7 in Western Hockey League final. Going to be an awesome game, and the winner will travel east to Halifax for the Memorial Cup. Let's talk about the World Championships. Round robin underway. Most teams have now played either 2 or 3 games. Who's standing out for you? And it's really about a thing of momentum for me. And the real thing doesn't start until we get the knockout phase. But what's standing out for you so far?
Well, I think this guy named Capo Caco. I just love saying that name, Capo Caco. Like what a hockey name right there.
Are you swearing? No.
Yeah.
Capo Caco.
No, five goals in 3 games, including a 2-goal game against Canada and then a hat trick against Slovakia. Just a couple highlight reel goals. And I think in his hat trick game, he only had just over 10 minutes of ice time in that game. And then I haven't been able to see much of their overtime loss against the U.S. today, but he had 1 shift in overtime where I'll have uploaded later tonight, where he was just a beast. He had the puck for a good 20 seconds, and he was just deking around guys. Guys were trying to get on him, and he was just going around him like it was nothing. But yeah, he's been probably my number 1 guy that I've been happy to see. Excuse me. And then for the Swedes, William Nylander is leading the tournament in points. He has 2 goals, 8 points in 3 games. I know 2 of the games have been against Norway and Italy. But the Swedes look really good after they bounced back after their loss to the Czech Republic in the opener. Russia is 3-0. Nikita Kucherov and I believe it is Nikita Gusev. I believe is his first. I know Gusev. I might have messed up on the first name, but
no, it's Nikita Gusev. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They've had some really good chemistry. And Russia's power play. Just seen some of the highlights. I think Evgeny Danilov has 3 power play goals. Is just Malkin feeding them over and over again for those goals. But those guys have really looked good. And then for Canuck wise, Elias Pettersson has 3 assists in this tournament, and Quinn Hughes has a couple assists, including a couple really nice goals or nice setups. He set up Larkin for the overtime winner today. He set up Cullen White with a nice goal there. And then for Canada, Anthony Mantha had a 5-point night against Great Britain yesterday. I think those are some of the guys that have really stood out for me.
Great Britain, of course, first time in the tournament since 1994. And their first goal scored at this tournament was scored from a Vancouver Island player. The first name escapes me, but Hammond is the last name. Congratulations to him and his family. What's that?
I think it might have been Mike is his first.
Yeah, I want to say Dave, but I know Dave Hammond is a great roller hockey player for Team Canada. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the World Championships. I mean, to me, again, it's just mean nothing until we get through the round robin. Just because there is quite a few teams still fighting. I mean, they get a lot more money for staying up in Division 1, but teams like Germany, France, Norway, some of the lesser teams, Great Britain, right, they're going to be fighting for relegation, and the big dogs will come to play once we get to elimination round. So. And of course, you're playing in the round robin to see who you can play against in the elimination. But I've seen many times where a 4th seed knocks out the 1st seed and walks all the way through to the finals and wins it. So it's just whoever gets the most momentum and gets used to playing on the bigger ice surface, in my opinion. News and notes from around the NHL. I know we've got a couple injury updates and a couple of signings, and then we'll end today's show.
Yeah. So not a whole lot. The big injury here is Ryan Kessler. He had successful right hip resurfacing surgery.
It sounds painful. Time to retire, Ryan. Time to retire.
Yeah, so he'll most likely miss the entire next season after recovering from that, and he still has 3 years left on his contract. So I think you can put him in like in that Pavel Datsyuk, Chris Pronger, Mark Savard, whoever you want to throw in that long-term injured reserve sort of thing until his contract is up. Also, Kailer Yamamoto with the Edmonton Oilers. He had successful wrist surgery, and he should be ready for training camp. As well as Lawrence Pilot with Buffalo Sabres. He'll be out 5 to 6 months after shoulder surgery, and I don't think we mentioned it last episode, but Travis Dermott as well with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had successful shoulder surgery as well, and that's a 6-month recovery there as well.
John Tavares, of course, for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and his oblique injury, he'll be back to his regular offseason workout in about a month.
Mm-hmm. There's that one. Sergei Bobrovsky put up his condo in Columbus up for sale. So if you're a Columbus fan, like well, you know, him and Panarin are most likely gone, but that's sort of puts the coffin in the nail there. You'll probably be looking to.
Korpisalo is a good goalie though, so
I know. Man, and they got that other young guy, Merzliskins, who's actually playing for Latvia at this World Championships, and he looks like another good up and coming goaltender as well.
Where do you think? By the way, where do you think Bobrovsky's going to go?
Oh, everybody thinks Florida, but there's a few teams that need starting goaltenders, but Florida has to see because they still got Reimer and Luongo both under contract for next season, and that's a lot of money for those two goaltenders right there. So, but I think everybody expects Florida, but we'll see what happens there. And like Panarin, he'll probably be heading to a big market. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers are one of the favorites, and even the Panthers as well have been mentioned in signing him as well.
Deep down, I think he might end up in Edmonton.
They got no cap space. And if I was Edmonton, I'd be actually looking to address some of their defensive woes as well. Well, they got a lot of issues that they got. We'll see.
When you get a new GM, it starts at the back end, in my opinion. So
yeah. Also, a couple additions to the World Championship rosters. The U.S. got Zach Werenski from Columbus, which is big because he's actually a restricted free agent going into this offseason. And usually guys that don't have contracts going into the offseason, usually they do not go and play just because of fear of injury. But that's a huge add for the U.S. And Nikita Zadorov got added to Russia's roster from the Colorado Avalanche. And then Rick Bowness, Ottawa asked for permission to interview him for the head coaching job. He was an assistant coach for the Dallas Stars this past year.
I think Rick is smart enough not to accept that job, though. No matter
I don't. Yeah, well, there's actually a good amount of candidates for that job nowadays. I think it's like them in Anaheim and Buffalo. I think are like the big three that still need new head coaches for next season.
If I'm not mistaken, Rick Bowness has been the head coach in Ottawa before, and it didn't go too well. So,
well, there's a few teams that have circled back. Like Montreal's done it like twice with they have Claude Julien and Michel Therrien, I believe, both have had second runs there. So it's not unheard of. And like even like I heard Jacques Martin's name has been thrown in there, and he's coached Ottawa before. So there's a few names, but I think because I think Ottawa they might be going on a little bit of a cheaper end. I don't think they have the money, or Eugene Melnyk I don't think wants to spend.
Yeah, Rick Bowness was their first ever coach in 1992 to 95. He went 39 wins and 178 losses and 18 ties.
Oh, just crazy. Oh man, but yeah, I think that's about all I got. But yeah, for the highlights tonight on our Facebook page, I'll have all four of the games from today, including Canada's thrilling nail-biting win against Slovakia. Mark Stone got the game-winning goal with 1.8 seconds left in the third period as Canada won 6-5. They're 2-1 in the tournament with they beat Great Britain 8-0. In their game on Saturday after their loss against Finland in the opener 3-1. So we'll see if they can get things going. But they have a couple injuries that they might have to live with, as Brandon Montour and Dante Fabro both left with injuries. Montour was an undisclosed injury, and Fabro took a puck to the face. Canada still has one more roster spot that they can use to fill. So depending on if any of those guys are out long term, you could see them maybe look to add a defenseman in the coming days.
Well, remember, like I said at the beginning of the show, to like this, smash the like button on this show. Remember to like our page or our channel, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. All our highlights are on Facebook, BNB Hockey Talk. I'm Aaron. He's Matt. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back later this week with another episode of BNB Hockey Talk. Thanks again to all our loyal supporters, and we'll see you guys later.